All right, you guys, one more form of a linear equation, and then we will have all three forms. This one's the standard form of a linear equation. But before you start writing, I'm going to do some review. So I will be able to tell who's paying attention and who's not paying attention based on if you write this part down or not. So you don't have to write this down. I'm just going to go over it. The two types of equations that we have so far are, the very first one we ever learn is slope-intercept form. Okay, and we all know what this looks like. It looks like y equals mx plus b. Okay, so if I had an equation over here, for example, if I had y equals 3x plus 4, this is called the slope-intercept form because I can see my slope. My slope is 3, and I can see my y-intercept. My y-intercept is 4. Okay, slope-intercept form because I can look at the equation and I can see the slope and I can see the y-intercept. I can see both things. That's why it's called that. The second one we did that I think we just learned, there was another video on it, is the point slope form. So if in the slope-intercept form I can see the slope and the y-intercept, in the point slope form I can see the point and the slope. So the one we use that I gave you is y equals y1 plus your slope times x minus x1. Okay? And that's correct. I could change it. I could move the y1 to the end. It could look like y equals m times x minus x1, and then I could just put y1 at the end, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, sometimes you'll see it like that. You can also bring this to the other side. So sometimes you may say it, and this actually makes more sense. You may have an aha moment here. Let me undo that. What if I want to move, we know how to rearrange equations, right? What if I want to subtract y1 from both sides? What does that look like? Then we have y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. Now you guys, here is going to be your aha moment. Check this out. I'm going to rewrite that same thing, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And when we actually have numbers here, you guys, when we actually have numbers, the number, one of your points is going to be here. So if I had the point, let's say 3, 4, you would put the 4 for y1 and the 3, substitute that in for x1. Okay, those are where the numbers would go. But come back over here. Check this out. We've been doing a lot with slope lately, right? Slope is m. Can we rearrange this equation? Can we solve it for m? What would I do? I would need to divide both sides by this whole thing, x minus x1, right? Okay. And I would need to divide this side by the same, x minus x1. Now, let's rewrite this cleanly. Let's rewrite this. And we have m, and I'm just going to put slope on this side. We have the slope is equal to y minus y1 over x minus x1. Well, yeah, look, we got the slope equation. We know that. So basically, to get the point slope form, you were just manipulating the slope equation. Okay? To get the m, you're just multiplying the m times x minus x1 and keeping the y minus y1 on the other side, which then sometimes we bring over. How cool is that? So there's your point slope form, your slope-intercept form. I will write this really quickly. I'll give you an example. Let me give you an example over here. I'll write the point slope form using numbers. So what if my slope was 2/3 here? So my slope is 2/3, my point is 3,4. So I'm going to rewrite this as y equals my slope 2/3 times x minus, and then this is where I need to grab my x over here, minus 3, okay, plus, and then my y, which is 4, okay? We can write it like that. We could also write it with the y in front, so it would be plus 4 plus 2/3 times that. You could write it the way we wrote it over here, which was y minus 4 equals my slope times x minus 3. Okay, so pretty cool. So we have slope-intercept form, we have point-slope form, and then how do I make a new page here? Paste, nope, new page. Oh, I think I can just go down. Watch this. What? Okay, so the third one, which is where you should now start writing, unless you just wanted to write that other stuff to have it down somewhere. The third is standard form, and standard form looks like this. AX plus BY equals C. Okay, and in standard form, there's a couple of things. There are never any fractions. So we always have to get rid of some fractions. So let's derive this from using one of the other forms. So this is the formula. A is just going to be a number. B is just going to be a number. And you guys, I'm writing this shorthand, right? If you're writing your notes and you want to remember this better, maybe you should say, instead of just this, you should say, hey, I need to remember that A is going to be a number. Okay, B is also a number, and C is a number. Okay, sometimes my notes aren't enough. There's a lot of times I have to write a lot more stuff than my professor does, so I remember what not only I'm writing down, but what is said is also very important here, right? So let's take something in slope-intercept form and let's convert it to standard form. So what if I have slope-intercept form? Y equals 2/3 x minus 7. Okay? And then, look, there's never any fractions, and x and y are always on the same side. Okay? So x and y always what? You write the rest. You write the rest of what goes there, okay? And then I know who's paying attention and who's just trying to copy this down. X and y are always what? And there's never any fractions. So let's convert this. So we want x and y on the same side, so I need to move this 2/3 x over here. So I need to take them away, subtract 2/3 x from this side. What you do to one side, you have to do the other. So you guys, this is why it was so important to be able to rearrange equations, because we need to do it when we're talking about linear relationships here. So then what do we get? And the x, it always needs to be in alphabetical order too. So that's the third thing. Always, and then what did I just say? Always in alphabetical order right there, okay? So I'm going to put the x first. So now I have negative 2/3 x plus y equals -7. And the negative's okay, but what's this? Never any fractions? So I need to get rid of this 3 on the denominator. So what I do is I multiply the whole equation by 3 to cancel it out. And I'm going to have to distribute it. So if I multiply it by 3, this cancels. So I get -2x plus, but now 3 times y is 3y, and 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. But now I have standard form, where a is negative 2, which is a number, right? B is 3, and C is negative 21. Okay? So are x and y always on the same side? Or is it on the same side? Check. X and y are on the same side. Are there any fractions? No. Check. There shouldn't be any fractions. And what was the other thing? They should always be in alphabetical order. So I have x and then y. Yep. Cool. Now, you could have it written, and sometimes we see this like we do quadratics. We could move the 21 to the other side and set it equal to 0. That's okay. But we usually won't see it that way, but I just want to show you plus 21 equals 0. And then this is more like a standard quadratic equation, except it's not a quadratic, it's just a linear relationship. Okay? One other thing I wanted to show you guys about this is, what if we said, I want to just derive something else. So do this with me. AX plus BY equals C. Let's solve this for y. Okay? Let's solve for y. If we solve for y, it'll give us slope-intercept form, and we can see what things are. And this is really interesting, you guys. So let's subtract AX first, right? From both sides. So now I have BY equals C minus AX. Okay, and then let's divide everything by B, and that'll get us y by itself. And then you could just say, okay, everything divided by B, but I don't want to do that. Sometimes that's okay, but I know I don't. I want to divide each thing. I want to divide C by B, and I want to divide A by B, because what happens is this. Okay, now I have C over B minus A over B x. This is slope-intercept form, right? So look at what I got. Negative A over B is my slope. Negative A over B is, and I want you guys to write slope here, and let's see again how many people are paying attention. I'm going to come around and check. So negative A over B is the slope, and what does that make C over B? That's exactly right. That's the y-intercept. Okay? So if I give you an equation in standard form and I say 3x plus 2, no, I don't want to use 2. How about 3x plus 6y equals 7. Okay? And I ask for the slope. Well, all I have to do is take my A, make it negative, right? So it's going to be negative 3 over 6, right? Which reduces down to negative 1/2. So my slope is negative 1/2. Right? And I can find that just from here. And my y-intercept is going to be C over B. C is 7. B is 6. And we can't do anything with this, really. We don't like to turn numbers over 6 usually into decimals because it ends up being repeating, especially this one. So 7 over 6 is just going to be our y-intercept. Okay? So now that we know all these 3 different ways, we're going to do some practicing on matching up how we can recognize what is what. So I'm going to come around, call me over when you're done, and I'm going to check, unless you're doing this at home, and then obviously you can't, but I'm going to check and make sure you wrote down everywhere I have a blank line so that I know that you were paying attention. Okay? And then I will get you started on the next piece.